Says we're live, so that must mean it's time for me to read out. You are listening to Let's Go JoJo, the weekly JoJo's Bizarre Adventure podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall. And it's me, Brian, who may be slightly out of sync because OBS, Skype, and his new sound card are all conspiring against him.
They say you're out of sync. I say you're ahead of the game.
Yes, well, there you go. I know what I'm doing this weekend is further faffing around with this sound card. About this episode, though, we are covering the anime that aired the week of the 16th of January to, let's try and add some sevens to that. 16th, add the 6. That'll be 22nd.
That should be easy.
Yeah.
22nd.
With the solitary exception of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Stone Ocean, Episode 7. Dwayne, what's the title called?
There's 6 of us. If only they'd gotten that on episode 6.
Yes.
If only they'd put it down as Day Were 11 minus 5.
So, there's a couple of lads who were working in a shed outside the prison, and they're trying to get away from a monster.
We open on a horror movie.
Yes.
Yep. Just that don't need a tractor. It's like every of the safety videos we saw in primary school about, going down the farm. Watch out for the slurry pit. Watch out for machinery. Watch out for the horrible beast that dwells inside a tractor shed.
I think my favorite horror movie line in it was them trying to close the shed door, and one of the two brothers kind of going like, "Those aren't my arms." I was just like, "Oh, that's fucking amazing! I love that." Oh no!
I'm here still. I've just realised I have to do something behind me.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, spooky! Thought what the monster got you? Yeah, it's like shit. You shouldn't go out to the forbidden shed. Until the warden says we got some fellas missing who were last seen near the forbidden shed. We're going to a search party with you criminals, you filthy convicts. You need to go out and find them.
I'm not going to pay you for this. You're not going to get time off, or for good behavior or anything. It's just for charity. And obviously he takes great umbrage at Jolene suggesting that a crocodile might have done it, because obviously his hand puppet is a crocodile.
Specifically, a female crocodile might have done it. That's the additional thing. To make sure he knows it's her, that crocodile she's talking about.
That's true, yeah. She does insinuate.
It's just natural. It could have been the mother guarding the eggs. It's just... She's seen some documentaries.
But yeah, initially our other girl doesn't seem too interested, but when Jolene volunteers, it's like, oh, okay, this is going to give me an opportunity to talk to Jolene.
There's weird shit going on with these discs and things.
So they get specifically 5 volunteers, and they have, like, it just to show how fucked up the American prison system is. Not that you didn't know that already. You have to wear like these exploding bracelets, like out of Battle Royale kind of thing, but on your wrist rather than around your neck.
Battle Royale, Running Man, take your pick.
Yeah, any number of exploding wrist, exploding band dystopia things, which is just. But they'll have them in the US.
Given the comic came out in 2000, Battle Royale.
Yeah, actually, yeah,
probably literally months since that film came out. So.
I'll write a shit. I'm putting that in my comic. But and what the guard who's escorting them hasn't. So they have to stay 50 meters from him, or it'll start beeping and then it'll explode, killing you. That seems inhumane. But also he's got a little a scooter.
ATV.
Yeah, an ATV to ride around.
Keep up.
Which is a real dick move. But as if that wasn't enough to make you hate this guy, he even pulls some more dick moves later on, which gets him deservedly fucking. I'm not sure if he's killed by the end of it. He's definitely fucked up by the end of it.
Yeah. Well, he was like, "Whoa, don't fall over to me! Before you go, you're snapping up at me." He's trying to knock everybody's into the dog shit, but like a little bit of Jolene going, "Susu, web swing." Just like, well, make the guard fall in the dog shit instead, or the crocodile shit rather. It's like, okay, well, what's going on? Jolene, you got this little kid running around. Yeah, I know about him. He's in Emporio. He's all right. He's cool. But that disc, though, you try and see what's on it and say, no, man, it's weird. Okay, what I fucking did, because he could Emporio pass it on to me. And I'm seeing memories of Thunder McQueen talking to Whitesnake in the Forbidden Barn. And in that forbidden barn or one of these sheds out here, inside a tractor tire, concealed inside, is a horde of all of these standards. There's memory discs, there's standards, there's loads of them in there.
He seems to
Got
be
the
collecting
motherload.
them, and obviously, since they are physical CDs, like he does need someplace to hide them so the guards can't get them. And in this tractor tire seems to be his stash of stand users and powers, since that seems to be how they work. Yeah.
So we gotta go and check out that shed, but one that the guard said, "Hey, we're going to go and search out here in the marshes. You follow me, or else you're gonna get blown the fuck up. The 6 of you should be fine for this job." Like, oh, Johnny's going, "What the fuck? We gotta get into that shed." But he's going up and said, Hermes said, "Whoa, hold up. Did you see what I hear?" Yeah, if we gotta go out and search that marshes. Yeah. There's 6 of us, but only 5 of us went out. Where did the spare come from?
Like, I did notice that when they went out of the prison the first time, that you see the girl there whose hair looks like a hat, and I was like, oh, she's from the opening. Okay, so she's going to be a thing. And then later on, it shows like they catch up with the other women who are doing the searching, and I was like, it's like 1, 2, 3. It's like, okay, none of these are that woman, and then that woman is also there, and I was like, hang on a fucking sec. I was thinking that at the exact point the characters were. I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't.
When
seem
they're
right.
initially like running out, you see like no, they're all like except for Jolene and Hermes, they're all in silhouette.
Yeah. So you don't. She's the only one you see like as a face drawn character, as it were. But and that character does notice the exact same thing. It's like, hey, wait a minute, wasn't there 5 of us when we left the prison? They're like, yeah, I know, right? What's going on?
Well, we've got to figure this out. But, oh no, the guard has been killed because our braces started beeping. He's gotten too far away. Yeah, his body's floating away on the marsh right there. We got to get out there for months away. And poor old Atro, who was like, oh, she's one of those kind of shy retirement types. You know, she shouldn't be in this place. This isn't kind of work for her. We see what the bracelets do. They blow you the hell up.
Well, we saw.
But then thinking,
yes, there was some more
strange.
bracelet stuff with the guard though before we got to this. Before we got to the shed, where he's trying to make Hermes fall into some crocodile shit.
Yeah. It was a very kind of like thing of just like, I'm going to hit you with this nightstick for disobeying me and muttering under your breath, but I'm actually going to hit your wrist thing.
Just there's a warning on the wrist thing before it blows up.
Yeah. That and to make you want this guy to fucking die more. So it has 2 functions.
Yeah, and I guess possibly they might come into figuring out who's a fake maybe later on if they start hitting people's things just individually to try and figure out maybe the fake swan wouldn't set a beep off if you hit it with a stick.
Maybe they have a fake wristband or whatever.
But eagle-eyed viewer, or well, if eagle-eyed, let's see if you have eyes, would have seen that girl that just got blown the fuck up is like all over the opening credits. So there was something strange going on there.
Also, eagle-eyed viewer would say, "Hang on, the one with the hat was not a part of the 5 who volunteered at the start of the episode."
She wasn't part of the 5 who volunteered, but she was there right after they left the prison. Like, she was in the group shot there. Yeah. But as to how it's like that worked is like, it's a bit strange.
Yeah,
there's
one who looks just like Kale from Dragon Ball Super as well.
I think it's the shirt. I think it's the cut-off shirt. My suspicion is like, which is the least Iraqi design sort of thing. So it's the most plain woman is who I think who done it. But maybe I'm wrong. It's a fun one. So you have the other girls trying to pull him out of the swamp so they don't explode, and Hermes is like, "Hey, Jolene, watch out! There's something in that bucket." No, there's nothing in that bucket. Wait, there was something in that bucket. It pulls her off into the into the swamp.
Back and Hermes is gone, and then we cut to Hermes trying to pull the bucket off her
being
head,
dragged by a bucket into the swamp.
in the swamp, yeah.
And inside she sees some like little kind of I forgot the name for those little kind of shrimps. Basically like little plankton looking things that are multiplying. Yeah.
With crazy you can face in them, and they're multiplying and they're going together. And it's like, and they can combine and make like a huge humanoid sighting that I can strangle you and drown you and punch you more effectively.
And they've got the same face as the monster we saw consume the 2 previous guys at the start of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The stand user.
Hermes is a stand user as well, and so she uses Kiss to is it the bucket to begin with, and then later on it's the arm when she's showing.
I think she
arm,
pulls
yeah.
out 2 stickers, but we didn't see the arm one until she establishes it later. Yeah.
Jolene's on the case. She's just like making like a string bridge all across the way, which greatly abuses the rest of the volunteer person group here because they can't see that. So as far as I can tell, they saw Jolene walking on water like the Lord just risen again.
Yeah.
But it's hard, she's unraveling away, but that's grand because when this enemy stand goes to fun, give her one in the gut. It's like, but I've already unraveled my midsection, so you just punch into nothing, buddy.
Looks like she got stabbed through. It's like, nope, there was nothing there to begin with. I'm just letting you get close enough to beat the shit out of you. The standard old JoJo thing.
Yep. We'll reel ourselves back in here, and we'll just take that sticker off. So that arm you're going to reach out to get us with, it's going to snap back and blow it off. It's like, oh crap.
And they get back to shore. And they're like, okay, so it lives in the water. So as long as we stay out of the swamp, we'll be fine, right? They're trying to, the standard establish the rules of this fucking thing.
Yeah. But it's like, obviously, if this was planned, because they couldn't, it obviously must be a stand user out here that's guarding it 24/7. So somebody here is said stand user that is guarding it. Now, I know what's actually going on. So
Yeah.
well, I'll let you figure it out.
They're trying to use the radio to contact the prison. That's what the other.
The guard's been in an accident, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and which one is the one with the one of the haircuts? Is the one that Hermes is originally suspicious of?
The one with the buzz cut.
Yeah, because
there's a woman with a buzz
shave
cut.
size, and it's just like she's like no sclera on her eyes. It's just like the full like dark pupil fill the whole
It's
thing.
like she's wearing sunglasses the whole time. Yeah.
It is that kind of like, like we've seen a character who's got just got like them little dot eyes, but we got Iraqi's very detailed version of it. It just feels like it fills up the whole thing. It looks really weird, like they're possessed.
Because
there's a woman with like a circle on her face.
She knew Atro,
yeah,
but Atro didn't know her. And
yeah.
I like how Hermes is trying to play big sister to Jolene, but is constantly thrown by Jolene actually being more powerful than her at this point in the story.
More powerful, more competent, kind of like, it's like, so the reason, like, Jolene establishes is like, I'm trying to get, if that's where the CDs are, then that's where my dad's CD will be. And it's like, you're sticking around to get your dad's thing, so it's established why Jolene's sticking around and why Hermes
says, she put the disc back in and he came back to life, so...
Yeah, so that establishes like, well, maybe we can bring him back then.
So baseball kid is keeping the disc safe down his trousers.
Well, they only absorb into your face, so it should be fine down his pants. Yeah.
Oh no!
I did like the thing when Jolene was actually playing it back to see where the discs were hidden, and it was like it was spinning in her face as it was absorbing into it. I was like, that's a nice visual. Yeah. And the other thing I noticed in that playback of Whitesnake, from the back he was CG, and I'm guessing it's like, it makes sense because they're going to be using that model over and over again. So it makes sense that they would have like a little model to play off for sequences. Yeah.
Fun episode, nice mystery, some gory bits with the guys at the start.
It establishes like the threat really well. Yeah.
The guy realizing that his arms were still hanging onto the door and he was no longer attached to them. There's some good bits. It was like I realized I was the one not pulling my weight. Eaten by the monster. Just good stuff. Yeah, a lot of fun. Then we've got Tribe 9, episode 2. Dwayne, you got the title for this one?
The Destroyer.
So, we learn the rules of this game, which are kind of pretty much what we surmised from the context clues of the first episode.
Yeah, so it's not random as to where the baseball field is. It's like the area that your gang holds, right? Yes. So presumably if you took over some other gang's area, that would mean that you'd have a bigger baseball field to play.
Maybe.
That's, yeah. Also, there's no home runs and there's no outfield catches to get you out. It's you gotta be tagged with the ball to be out, or you 3 strikes and you're out.
Yeah, there's no catching it out of the air. I still don't know if you can bean someone. That's not established in this.
I'm sure it would come up at some stage.
Yeah, probably.
We will find out, but if that stage ever comes up, remains to be seen.
There's a better show started this week. And yeah, it's just a practice match between our guys. Meanwhile, we occasionally cut across various other tribes' locations as the Neo Tokyo royal family are going from tribe to tribe and beating them.
It opens up in the big throne room. You have the phalanx of guards right there, and here's like like the number one main man coming in. He's got like a skull mask or scary teeth mask on, saying, "Yes, I rehold of any day that I chose you to be my heir, and you've progressed so far." You think, "All right, this is going to do they hate baseball and want to crush it now. Now go out there and conquer the baseball world in the name of the royal family." Everyone's okay. Baseball. There's already got baseball dynasty in this league.
Yeah. The only problem is it just reminds me of IIIrd 11. I'm just like, I probably would just prefer to watch IIIrd 11 some more.
Sure.
Yeah. This practice, it's multiple handicaps. If this going to be one. Well, Kazuma, he's going to be he's just his own team. He's going to be like him against all the rest of you.
Except obviously one's going to be the catcher regardless. Yeah.
Yes. And we won't have first base be the place the next street over. It's going to be just that lamppost over there. And if you can tag him with the ball, or even if you can get a hit off, it'll count as a run. It's like okay, because he's just that confident, or he's just that assured of his skill. And yeah, he's striking him out. He can barely get a thing on him. He's dodging and ducking and weaving, but. Tiger, I think, would be he's going to be like the slugger. He's going to be like the more physical one, but he's also an idiot, so he can't really succeed in either facet of this. But Haru was the one who may have a chance because he's got the heart and the guts and the reflexes to maybe get a
magical
runoff.
eyes. He just manages to barely bunt the ball basically, which does count as a run. It's like no, that counts because I said that's the handicap I gave you. So
yeah, that's amazing. Feel like I've never had friends like this. Well, in fact, people trying to get stuff off of me or use me or take advantage of me, but you actually really appreciate me having around here, and even after he tries out the bat and starts swinging around and just actually destroys the spread of fried foods being dismayed. Thinking, it's okay, we'll clean it up before it's thanks, guys. I really appreciate this. It's like, it's all very heartfelt, but no, bad news. Got news. It was heard that all these other tribes, or these other gangs, baseball gangs, are getting crushed by the royal family, who show up in their monster trucks and challenge and throw down for a match.
As you do. It was not as interesting as the last episode because you didn't really get to spend enough time with other characters who've got wacky character designs. I think that was at that point. I was like, once you take that out, I was like, is there much here? You see most of them, 3 of them, have been destroyed already.
Yeah. You don't get to see the cool tough guy baseball team. It's like, no, those guys are already all murdered by baseball.
Yeah. And it does feel weird that I guess next episode they're going straight into fighting the final bosses. Is the entire series just going to be one match between these 2 teams?
This would be the one where it'll get disrupted somehow, and it's both maybe the other gangs will go up and say, "We are even starting shit," and everyone's saying, the game falls into disrepute. There's the fans have invaded the pitch, so we got to call the match off. We'll do this again some other time. But again, I'm not sure I want to hang around for that because it's just I'm just kind of bouncing off of it. It's not really.
It looks good. Again, some of those designs are great, but it's not. There's not much meat on the bones, you know.
The Dangan Romperness, which is mentioned, is if you lose, you have to do whatever the winner says. But that's not really expounded upon as to what people tend to ask. I guess the bad guys are asking you to disband by the sounds of things.
There'll be some psycho shit where, you know, you got to be my slave for life, or you're gonna have to fucking, I don't know, like dismiss all your friends, or you're gonna be fun to do all this kind of thing. You know, I know it could be like some real fucked up bets with you, because they're real psychopaths, but I don't know. It's just what it was putting me in mind of. It was just kind of like the sort of the style of it. It seems like, you know, it's like, you know, it's like, you know, a street or like a game sort of thing, but yeah, a game or like, you know, a sports sort of thing. It's like kind of based in the streets, and it's like very much about like, you know, the surrounding kind of culture and like the people who were introducing it, and also the very underground like seedy aspect of it. It's this thing like, yeah, Skating for Me was pretty good, and it's way better than this.
Yeah. That's the other thing we have watched, in even not like you say in recent memory, we've watched things that did this kind of similar premise but with different sport or thing that all the characters are into better than this.
Yeah, if it just got down to business, like it's a much faster clip than this.
Well, even if it didn't, even if it took its time with Skate the Infinity, like it took a while before they got into the tournament, as all these things descend into. What it did there was it made you care about the characters, and it kind of like slowly brought you into, it's like, here's the various things of skateboards, here's how to make a skateboard. You know, I was just like, it took its time to go through it and show why the characters care and why you should care as a viewer, even if you're not into the subject. Yeah,
the fun was to do that though. I mean, they had the montages, and it was centered around, oh, this is like very this very warm, very earnest thing between Reki and the other dude, the Canadian.
Yeah, because it was centered on them kind of connecting as friends. Like that was kind of like the initial heart of it. And it becomes about friendship in skateboarding then. Was these guys, like, I don't know, like the two characters that are introduced are complete fucking strangers and don't really seem to. It's not that they don't get on. It's just their friendship isn't really a thing that the show talks about.
Yeah. Whereas this felt, and it could be systematic of like the medium that they're usually working in, like a tutorial in a video game.
Right.
This is also a video game or a mobile game or something.
Yeah.
I could see it working as a video game better. Yeah. Like, honestly, I don't mean that as an insult. Just like, the setup and the kind of like, I could see that being really fun, like jumping up the buildings to grab the baseball, that kind of thing.
Yes, it has got a video game, and a webtoon has also been announced. But apparently the anime is the only thing that exists at the moment.
Okay.
It'll be a 3D action role-playing game for smartphones. Then, let's go back in time a bit, and you can tell me all about episode 2 of what's it called? My Dress Up Darling.
My Dress Up Darling.
Hurry up and do it.
Want to hurry up and do it.
I've read there's going to be like so many of these. It's going to be you kind of like a very elusive one. Oh, you could read that in a very salacious way.
Like this one was skirting it, but it was very. It's like, time to get a little horny.
Well, that's it. What is one way to motivate a creative team of animators to put their all into putting out a quality bit of animation? Is it money? That would help a lot, actually. Is it like unionizing? That also help a lot, right there. But in the interim, we got titties. We got lots of titties. You can probably get over all
wild. I'll animate your first episode real pretty. Like, it's gonna the light, the fucking movement. It's gonna be so natural. Can I animate bouncing boobs in like the second episode? Absolutely, you can.
It's a different director, different story. It's like the second episode, so.
But fair enough. Maybe they do parse it out to, it's like, okay, this is a horny episode, and I just need to pay attention who's doing what.
It's like, okay, Wakanda is like, okay, me and Marin, if we're going to do this properly, you know, like, we gotta do this, like, by the book, we gotta do it, like, you know, I gotta get your fucking measurements, all right, so, you know, it's just like, you know, we'll just, like, do this, schedule some time, we'll just, like, you know, we'll start off and do that whole thing, and she's cool, what's it? I'll talk to you on Monday.
Yeah, it kind of ends where the last episode. It starts where the last episode ended, where they're talking in the classroom, and I liked his thing. I was like, she's just fucking with me, right? She's like actually not into this weird. What was the fucking game? It's like a
Slippery Girls 2. is
Slippery
just
Girls 2,
shortened title
the
to it.
torturing or something like that.
It's like, you know, fun Saint Lucifer's Girls Academy's S&M Club,
something like that.
colon, Slippery Girls.
And he's like, okay, she's
sequel to
just
the hit
fucking with
video
me. And
game.
then as he hears her, like, as I was like, I've been her, and I've been him talking to her of just someone like nattering on about the thing that they fucking love. And I was like, oh no, she's really into this. She will not shut up about it. And I was just like, yeah, that felt pretty real.
So there's multiple pathways, and each of them's got a specific fetish. You can they want to be dominated in different ways. You gotta be very different ways. She's not fucking with me in the very least. Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. We thought this war was on Monday though, so it's okay. The shop is closed over the weekend because Grandma's gone out to get this one machine fixed.
So there's not really much work he can do.
The day free. No, it's fine. I'll sleep in a bit. Knock on the door. Who's that? Hey, I could not wait until Monday to get my fitting done. I'm raring to go on this. Get this cosplay made. Let's just do it right now. It's like,
like several things of him is like, can I come in? And he's like, and he's like, oh, I brought you a little cheesecake from the cheesecake shop. And he's like, oh, thank you, that's really nice. And she's already like made her way into the house. I was like, fucking brilliant. And she's kind of like going home. Is like, oh, is this your room? Oh, cool. I'm gonna hang out in your room. I'm a teenage girl in your room. Let me root through your stuff. I'm gonna stick my butt in the air. I'm gonna lie down on your bed. And it's all the guys, like a teenage boy going like, there's a girl in my room. There's a girl in my room. And a lot of that, basically.
Oh, I never had a girl in my room. Never had anybody in my room.
Except for Grandpa. And it's her just being, not forward or anything, but just being like entirely comfortable in herself. And she's like, yeah, I'll just start stripping off so you can measure me. And she's like, he's like, no, we'd have to do that in your underpants. It's like, don't worry, I've worn a bikini. Which is
much better. That's just, you know, it's fine. You know, that just like takes away the anxiety I had about this process entirely. Oh well, that's a bikini. That's different. If anything, it could be possibly more revealing than you know you're normally wearing.
And it gives the animators plenty of opportunity to make bouncing boobs. So everybody wins. Yay.
Yeah, those extended like sequences of that of like, okay, you got to, okay, I'm gonna have to fun do this, you know, fun, okay, and that. But she's saying like, fun. Dude, it's all right, fun. I don't mind just fun, go for it, because as we know, she's a gal, and as we know, gals don't sweat the small stuff. Jesus, so I'm just wondering where to go with this. But she's maybe being that like picking up on the fact that this could be quite awkward for a lad his age.
Yeah.
But he's thinking at the same time, I come from a long line of doll makers, and we're professionals, we're artisans in our crafts. I gotta be like a professional. I gotta be like a doctor in this.
Yeah. And she's come in like basically she's expecting like me to be like, it's something she's passionate about, so it's something I should kind of respect as well. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll calm down from it. And he like manages to calm down while measuring her inseam, which obviously then sets her horniness off, and she's like, oh well, okay. And it's a bit awkward. And it's like, to get the measurements done, it's good. It's mostly measurements and the awkwardness of teens is the entire episode. But when she's leaving, she's like, here, I was just going to give you like the latest game, like 2, but I said it wouldn't really make sense if I didn't give you 1 as well. So here's the video games. You can play them so you can get the idea of the costumes. And then when the grandpa comes home, he catches his son playing this erotic game like fucking on full blast. The speakers are up, like if the room is filled with pink, and I guess girls like moaning and screaming and that kind of thing, and he's just there diligently taking notes.
He's just like fun right out to the screen and saying,
And the grandpa's like, I guess he is that age, but why is he taking notes? It's like the grandpa could have came home any time and just like seen he has a girl in the room. He's like, okay, I got it. I'll give you some space. But no, he had to come home after when he's playing the game. And I was like, okay, that's a pretty good joke. Yeah.
I'm glad he's making friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's like getting more. They go on expand upon it a bit in like in the third episode. It's just they're very just like Maren in her case, very obviously, very blatantly, she's into what she's into, and she doesn't want to let anybody kind of put her down for that.
Yeah.
It's not hurting anybody. It's not doing anything. It may be like a bit embarrassing, because and maybe you'll learn to reel it in a bit. And she does learn to kind of, okay, maybe going on about like this just makes some people feel a little bit kind of weirded out. So I should probably dial it down a bit, especially with this like guy's a bit more reserved. I should take it easy with him and do him because I really want to get this partnership going with him, because he knows his shit about like dressmaking and tailoring and so forth like that. So I know, like I should that's also like let him in to express the way his interests in his way as well.
Like I think the show's doing a pretty good job. Like like I said, this one's the horny one, or at least it lets all the horny out. But one of the things that I appreciate, like I've seen people complain about, the plain boring guy gets the most popular girl in class somehow, and it's like, but it kind of writes it quite well in that they both have passions that kind of align in this one way, and you can see them like each other in that regard through this related thing of wanting to get into cosplay and wanting to make materials for dolls, but then you can dress up an actual human as a doll, which is obviously the premise of the show. Yeah.
And it's just like, the board each seeing like there are different ways to express that and this.
Yeah.
And we'll find some nice little middle ground, and maybe something more.
Yeah.
But I sort of like appreciate like, okay, it's gonna be like it's gonna be that kind of, have those kind of moments in it. Be aware of that.
Yeah.
I mean, she's talking full blast about it. I mean, they're in the next episode, they're out in the streets walking by, and like some people waiting in the queue for the restaurant for them. I remember when I was going to high school. To be young again. They're talking about like full blasted fun. Yeah, the first scene in the Arrow game where he's in front of the student assembly and he can't stop fucking creaming his pants. He's like, what the fuck? What are kids these days doing? But they're like, they're being honest, they're being open. It won't be like be put to shame about what they've into, even if they should dial it down. That's teenagers for you. They will learn it over time. We all did.
Yeah.
Then we've got I've lost it now.
A Life with an Ordinary Guy Who Reincarnated into a Total Fantasy Knockout Episode 2, a guy who reincarnated as a fantasy knockout and an unparalleled beauty.
That's the one. So the door takes them to Tachibana's flat.
Because that was the thing he was thinking. It was like, the only thing I want to do is get this guy home. So that's his superpower. He can summon a door that takes them to their flat that exists in void space. Like, you can't open the windows and there's black void outside. And they only have two ready meals. And that's all he had in the house. I mean, the fridge still works. So if you do get food, you can put it in the fridge. So that's not so bad. But yeah.
So then they go back out exploring because they need to find some food. And they run across a village which has been taken over by bandits, and every single bandit proposes marriage to Tachibana as soon as they meet her.
Like immediately, that's her superpower. She's
cute. Which then leads to them all killing each other in a terrible fight, and the villagers hail them as their saviors. And then they go and raid. They go and raid the bandit camp?
Well, initially, like they're not so much interrogate the bandits. They're like, you'll never get us. Once the main bandit force realizes we haven't got back in contact, they're going to come get us. It's like, that means your camp is nearby. They're like, shit.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, please, Mr. Bandit, where is your bandit camp? And they're just like, okay, yeah, we have to spill the beans now.
It's a Bugs Bunny impression.
Like she really cutes it up, basically.
We learn the power of the tiniest bit of cleavage in this fantasy world on men, essentially, which she don't.
It's what you don't see. That's just the imagination.
She changes her outfit by the end of the episode to prevent. Wasn't Jinoji is the other guy, isn't it? Yeah, we get halfway through because he's like, "Oh, you go back to your apartment. I'll go deal with this." Tachibana's, "No, I'm going to come and help you." And then he has a flashback to Tachibana helping him do his school chores, and then it's basically him slowly realizing, "Oh, I've been in love with this guy all along," and then starts thinking about marrying the female Tachibana, and then panics because he's like, "You're not my type at all. You're completely out of but you've got such lovely soft blonde hair."
Yeah, he's still caught up by it, and the fact that he has changed in his apartment to like clothes his sister left behind. I'm going to switch between he and she constantly here because they do it in the show as well. So It depends how much they're trying to avoid it or not talk about it. So he's like, "These are my sister's clothes," and your man's just like, "Oh my god, they look great on you." You know, it's like, shut up, don't think like this.
He's panicking because he's not attracted to women, and he's attracted to this woman. And when he goes back and thinks about it, it's like, oh no, you're attracted to the guy who you've known for 20 years.
It's just somehow like, yeah, you love this guy, but somehow him being a girl now makes it more acceptable to you, so you find the feelings come more naturally.
But he rejects the feelings because he's not interested in women. Then that's the other thing.
Yeah.
This weird loop of panic that he has, and then essentially they raid the bandit camp by every time a bandit approaches her, he nails them into a ground with a judo throw. Because he's overprotective. And then when the villagers come and thank them for taking care of the bandits, he starts nailing them into the ground as well.
Just natural reaction.
And then they celebrate, and then they accidentally set fire to the entire forest and the bandit camp. Had the villagers moved into the camp as well? So the villagers they also kind of...
Yeah, I mean, like their town was kind of wrecked
because
by
they're
the
having a
initial
party,
end
and that's how the fire starts, and then they leg it, and then right at the end, we see these elves wake up in the morning, and one of them looks out on their forest and discovers that it's all burnt to the ground, which would explain the angry elf in next week's episode title. Our heroes are disastrous at being heroes. Is also part of the game.
Yeah, I mean, like they defeated the bandits, they saved the town, they got the treasure, and they fucked everything up in the meantime. Yeah, it's still very funny. It's still pretty good. Like I think introducing other characters is going to improve on the. Like, it's a funny joke, but if that was the only joke that they had, it was like, I love this guy, but I don't love women. I like him. Confusing feelings. Yeah.
And there's not so much from her point of view towards him in this episode. Beyond,
not as much. No.
Internally, we get the external stuff of wanting to help him raid the camp and all that stuff, and the teasing of him. But not so much internal stuff. But yeah, we're going to get some angry elves. I think we also get like a brief appearance of the terrifying monster again. That's when they're discussing like how tough he is. You can just go and raid the camp, and because you punched right through that bear. But yeah, this.
I assume it's fine to punch through a monster, but punching through like a human bandit is like that's a little different.
Oh, Shearer in the house.
Oh, and he was looking up the bandit stats because you can see their like level and how much HP they have, and he's just like, dude, they're all way under level than you. You can easily do this.
That's
they get like little charmed icons on their heads when they encounter Tachibana, which is the thing we see in the opening credits. That there's like a whole stack of them flies off Jinoji's head.
Yeah, he's just been cursed and cursed over and over again with this thing.
Debuff stack.
Yeah, this is much better than Tribe 9. So much better. I was like, well, if I've got to pick one between these two things, this is the thing I'm going to watch.
Like it doesn't look better, but I laughed way more, and that's net positive.
Does Tribe 9 necessarily look better? It's got the interesting designs, but
see, maybe that's what I'm thinking. Like I'm probably lording the designs too highly.
I think in terms of framing a shot, directing a show, this is much better.
Yeah. Fair, yeah.
Then what do we got next? We've got I'm KODAMA Kawashiri, episode 2. No time for titles. God, what's she up to this time?
You lose track of time. Yes. It's like, oh man, I'm going to have some food. Oh, I feel logy. I better go have a little nap. Oh, I've woken up. Jesus, it's fucking nighttime already. I'm hungry again. I better eat something before I go. It's like, oh man, I feel so low-key again. I better go to sleep. Oh, what time is it? Jesus, it's the afternoon already. Oh man, I'm hungry. I better sleep again. There's just this cycle goes on. It's like, what year is it?
Yeah.
And how much have I eaten? What meal is this? Is this breakfast? Is this dinner? I don't know.
Second sketch during the credits. There's a second sketch during the end credits as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the frick it is now because I mostly remember that.
Oh yeah, there was. It was going to do with the food. It was a dangerous food.
Yeah.
What happens with it?
Again, there's a minute
Yeah.
long. It's enjoyable watching it at the time, but it doesn't stick with me the same way with a dog and a cat did.
I mean, this episode stuck with me more because I was like, dude, I've been like locked up for 2 years. Yeah, I get that. Like, I understand like losing fucking time.
Oh,
I mean, it worked, you know. It disorientated me, and I don't even know what.
it's whatever food she
what
eats, she
becomes.
burns her mouth on it. That's what the end.
Yeah,
That was it, because it's like, super stew or anything else. It's just like doesn't matter.
which tickled me, or well, it burned me because I'm having a very hot bowl of stew that I made like a big pot of for work. It's like, this is art imitating life imitating art. There's too much in here, you know. Our college student loves eating beer and fried chicken, lays it around, keeps weird hours. It's me, and to an extent you as well, Dwayne, but it's also me. I think maybe a lot of people see themselves in this. Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing which is funnier possibly than the jokes is the voice actress doing all the sound effects.
Yeah, that is
So
pretty
she's
great.
making all the sound the food's making, but not like by just saying the words that would be the sound.
Like if it's a crackling fried chicken, it's like crackle 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 or something. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Which is a gag I always enjoy. Kuru Neko is the show, which does that a lot. Because again, that's similar in this. It's got one voice actress performing everything, sound effects, people,
and it probably saves on the budget a little, especially if the show is only like a minute long.
Yeah, I'd say Kuru Neko is a little better animated, than this, or rather animated compared to this.
They paid for the opening animation, which looks great. They did that. And they'll use it every episode.
Yeah, I think there was a bit more animation on the second episode than there was the first, and not many anime can claim that. That there was an increase in action in the second episode. But yes, it is slightly preposterous that the opening is 33% longer than the actual content.
But that's a life hack to get you to fill the slot. It's already within like the remit of the show to do that.
I missed Ninjala. Did you guys watch Ninjala?
I did, but I'm trying to remember what the hell happened. Episode 2, A Long Day for Burton and Bareka.
Was that the one?
They
oh shit! Yeah, it's like it's their entire lives have been fucking covered up like a conspiracy. That's what it is.
Yeah. There's another like ninja hacker at WNA. It's like it's like just cracking the codes and get into the system. It's like
eating all the sweets.
Hacking into that was no problem at all. The easiest job I've ever done. You find out what that job was. It was just erasing the existence of Burton and Bareka. And Burton tried to go back to his house, and this one, tries to get in with one, saying, "Fuck, my keys, but the lock's been changed." "Hey, landlady, what the fuck? Did you evict me?" Phone saying, "Who the hell are you, kid? Get out of here."
That guy ended his lease there today, and he breaks into the apartment using ninja gum, and it's just like, all his shit is gone. It's like, okay, so the lab's been cleared out, my thing's been cleared out. He meets your one Bareka outside, and she's like, my phone contract's gone up, and he checks his, he's like, oh shit, mine too. Okay.
We better go to the office. You can ask Marco. Marco knows who we are. We get the score in there. So you go to the front desk with that one. It's like, "Oh, hello, little children. Yeah. We're here to see Marco. He's our boss." "Oh, you mean he's our uncle?" Yeah. It's like, is he in? The phone said, "Nope, no Marco on file here." Phone said, "Really? Marco, head of like the Ninja Gum Research Project, and Burton and Bareka, his top scientists?" Is like, "No. He's been dead for 10 years, essentially."
Before they headed in, they did try and get stuff from the convenience store to mix together to make them into adults by working out was Burton's plan, which wasn't a very good plan. But they did just end up going to the office anyway.
Yeah. Eat a lot of protein. Protein makes them to grow up big and strong. So, in 10 to 15 years, you must be able to hire a car or something. I don't know.
So they're unsure of what to do. They're gonna sleep on a rooftop, I think, is their plan.
Yeah, to get a ninja gum they used to fend off the toughs who try to accost them. Like,
the cat survived the culling of their lives.
Yes, it did. So
that's good.
And Ron is just like he's he's handed off all of the info and all the results to the evil daimyo looking dudes at fun, saying, "Well done, Ron. Yes, now go and make sure and tie up any loose ends." And then as Ron is leaving, one saying, "Yes, Ron, a loose end such as yourself, because he's clearly outlasted his usefulness. We must dispose of him as well."
He's on the phone and something like, he's like, "Yes, we're going to take care of those two. Yes, and the third one." It's just like, oh, because he was in the project as well, so he has to be cleaned up as well. And yeah, Ron does find them later on fighting ninjas, and he's like, so they turned into children. Of course, I see. It's very logical.
Yes. Yeah. You see, like, there's as well, there's like, again, there's like few like half minute or minute things of the other children who will get not to get drawn into this. They're just like that one child is just like trained with the old fellas going, "Oh, he keeps breaking things. That kid's a menace, I tell you."
There's one kid who's she's beating up gangsters, isn't there?
Yeah, so that was I was the breakdancing child.
Yes.
There were some gangsters outside from just like banging the door and saying, "Pay up, motherfucker! We're gonna come in here and kill your whole family." But she disposes of them and leaves them tied up to the lamppost like a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. No problemo. That's kind of it. Sporty kid, he's on the court, but he's feeling down suddenly. This is not sure at what stage I could be drawn into this. I thought they would have been drawn into it by now, but I don't know. It's just, again, those sections feel like they're a little bit slow to kind of, the pace feels a little bit different. Now, when we get to the actual, when they've eaten some of the gum and they're fun taking it to those thugs in the street, it's quite well put together. Again, they're fun bouncing off walls, they're fun parkour, they're fun spitting out gum in a disgusting manner and gluing them to it. Because, very Spider-Man kind of action thing that's going on there. So if you just get a few more of these kids bouncing off the walls, it could be quite fun. But it feels like, there's in-between bits where we're kind of, again, laying some more of the groundwork for what the kind of scenario is going to be.
You think they would have have most of that laid down in the first episode and just be ready to run by the second, but not quite.
Really expand the lore.
The other thing is, I think we get
the lore.
Yeah, because like you're playing the video game, I want to see what the fucking world is like. For example, it is called Eagle City. It's not New York City.
Okay.
We learned this one. Yeah.
Apparently, there's aliens. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. I'm looking at the playable characters of who are these other people, and apparently
I tried watching some people play it to see if that would tell me anything. I learned nothing from watching people play the game. Shockingly, I know.
At the same time, working as a nighttime vigilante tasked with stopping the plans of the space ninjas.
Space ninjas.
That's way better than aliens.
You needed
I'm
that.
fucking down for this now.
Like aliens
yeah.
seeking to conquer planets by absorbing the DNA of ninjas to grow stronger. That is apparently what awaits us if you carry on watching this show.
That sounds really good. Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, I'm more excited by that than it's fucking politics baseball.
Turns out when you make a kids show for kids, it might be better than making a kids show for adults.
And also, you get these double the amount of actual baseball bats used in Ninjago of all things.
That's true. Yeah, actually. Good point.
And then we got Ranking of Kings, episode 14, The Return of the Prince. If you like healing magic, this is the
Men of the West, I bid you stand.
This is healing magic, the anime.
All those elixirs, if you keep it in stock to save for the final boss, so now's the time to go through them.
Yeah. Don't hold back on them.
I'm trying to remember the order of events.
Just Dorsch getting torn to shreds. Yeah.
Dorsch getting fucking eaten by lions, and he's like, "Oh, get out of here, Queen." The Queen's just like, "I'm gonna go over there and heal him, and then he can kick all of those guys' asses."
The snake shows up. Snake shows up, allowing her to heal Dorsch.
Snake shows up. "Don't worry, Your Majesty. I'm here to help," says the giant.
And she's like, "Oh, I remember you." Well, he does explain. Yeah. I'm the snake that you and Boji saved.
You and Boji saved.
Prince Boji, because the snake knows his place in society.
Yeah, the snake is very polite, so she can't fault at that. But yeah, the snake is kind of messing up the lions and stuff, but it can't really. It does a reasonable job of messing up that big ogre guy, the green guy.
Mm-hmm.
But then it just picks him up by the tail and starts swinging it around. It's like can't really defend against that.
Musses him up. But the prince has returned.
Yeah.
He's here.
Here. So, can you please heal the snake as well? But I don't have enough bottles. Well, luckily, Kage is full of bottles.
Don't worry, I stole these earlier.
Protect you from the giant using my sword play. And then we get...
So the giant, like initially you don't even see him take down the giant guy. You just hear the little stabby sound effects, and then there's like a bogie running around. But then we get the thing of like, you know, the giant's got a big stone hammer, for lack of a better term, and then kind of flashback to Bogie's training. It's like, see this diamond? Do you think you could crush this, Bogie? Bogie's like, no. But it's like, but see, let me explain molecules in the way a medieval king would understand these things.
Well, the molecules.
Essentially, yeah. But he's talking like everything has a weak point, and you just have to find it. And once you can hit that slightly, he demonstrates by dropping a diamond. It's like, yeah, you can break it. So Boji just shatters his giant axe or hammer or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. That's how he broke the rock. He can break rocks now
by stabbing him in the foot, and then it is Hilling's turn for a flashback as she remembers Boji helping put the fires out in the or wanting to help put
he tried so hard,
and he was only using a cup, but his brother was using like some sort of tub, and then obviously the king showed up and used for as far as I could tell was a small pool to put out the fires, but Boji put the effort in, man.
Yeah, we see even then that Bossy had anime wasting disease. It's like, after doing that whole feat and telling people to phone, yay, so it's like, no problem. Blood. Don't let the people see.
Then we get Hilling and Kage and the snake and Dorsch getting into a bit of a squabble as Kage calls Hilling a dumbass.
Well, I mean, like she did say, like, who the fuck are you? And it's just like, well, I'm Boji's friend. And it's like, fucking excuse me, I get an evil aura off you, so none of that fucking back talk. I need you to swear allegiance to him. And he's like, fuck you. And he's like, but freaking Dorcas, get your fucking newly made foot up here and kick this guy's ass.
The snake has to explain.
She keeps going to him for Dorsch, get him.
The snake's like, no. Kage, we like Kage. Kage's cool. He saved Boji. Boji owes him.
Oh, I see.
And also, he's already put himself in the service of Boji, so he doesn't have to promise that.
Dorsch, apologize for me. The queen is very sorry.
Explain why I can't apologize.
And then Kage's like, well, I guess up until this point in my life, I did just constantly steal things, so it's not a surprise that you get an evil aura off me.
Also, I am cursed, so, fair enough. And then she actually does apologize to him as well, which is nice.
And then Boji asks her to heal all the lions as well. And now they're friendly because being knocked unconscious removed the ensorceling that was upon them. And then, is he Gigan the giant? Or Gigant?
Gigant, yeah. It's just like, Please don't paralyze me again. Please don't like Kokoro Shinken me again. I'll be your friend. It's like, no problem. Okay, it's all right. We're all buddies here.
And he's like, whoa, you're not his fucking friend. You can be his vassal. And Kage's like, don't worry about it. I'll be your mate. It's grand.
Yeah, I guess he's a prince, so you've got to be his retainer. But you can be my friend.
And this is where the queen also learns. It's like, wait a minute, Boji, you can read lips. It's like, yeah, that's how it works. And she's like, okay, I'm vastly underestimated by adopted son.
Doesn't question how Kage can understand Boji's speech. But and then we get the stuff with Uken, who... Do they say exactly what his relationship is with Desper and Desha here?
He's the prince, and he looks a lot more like Desha. He's the hair cutter anyway. Yeah. So I presume it's like his son at that. Also, they can communicate like this across on this phone, saying, "Hey, bro, you there? Yeah, I'm totally here. You there? Yeah, I can see him right now."
I gotta fucking add that to some shit, some game where it's just like, hey, magic spell. If you talk into your hand, you can talk at long distances to people, like talking into like a paper cup kind of thing.
Yeah.
That it's a very fun visual as well as this very serious king is like, I'll catch up with you. And he's like, how's it going over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Oh, yes, this is like the printer. He didn't always used to be this way. He was so from bright and outgoing before the incident, whatever that was.
Before he became immortal, because when you become immortal, you lose all earthly attachment to become a literal fucking monster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's seems to be how he works.
Yeah, again thinking like all these like curses and things that are all to be tied into these royal lineages and so forth. Is this some kind of offshoot of this king ranking game? Where there's some strings attached for, I guess, how you move up for it, or how you win it, or when you win it. So as we know, when you win it, you go crazy or disappear, or both.
Is it like if you wish for a thing that you want, like I want to be immortal, and it's like, okay, what's the catch on that? That kind of thing. And in this case, the catch is you become an inhuman monster.
There are Faustian pacts, plenty going on in this. So how far are they willing to go? And indeed, could this have anything to do with Desha trying to make his way in this ranking game? Did he have to give up his one and only son for whatever reason to get the status that he needed to go up there, climb the ladder?
Well, they make it sound like that this was Oaken's decision, because they're like,
like basically he wanted immortality to be a better captain of the guard, because he was really sound out when he was the captain.
And again, it's not clear how long is he being immortal? Is he one of the? Is he like? Is he a son? Is he a brother? Is he an ancestor? Who's? And they made the point like just because he's gone so bad, we're not going to abandon him.
Yeah, it's still our duty to take care of him. Like we're gonna lock him up because he's crazy. But he's dangerous, because like by the time he's shown up, it's like I arrived just in time, and he sees everyone else is dead. It's like I arrived slightly too late.
Yeah, I'm getting the thing like, no, he's some relation. I'm very sure he could be just like a son or younger sibling or something like that. And to say it's his
victim in this whole.
And to say it's his decision about saying it's like, oh yeah, I want to help you like be the best king you can be. I have no problem entering into this contract. You know, if it helps me to like support you in your aims, because I love you or respect you that much. Because that was the thing, like, you know, if you have this, if the team is like, if parents they mess you up, and you have a raid against that. What if like, no, you go with this. No, you go along with it wittingly. You want to, you just because you love them, it can fly back in your face the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously if it ties in with even Miranjo or the underworld, then again it's another thing of like Desha's thing of like, we've got to stop the things from the underworld getting to the overworld, because they probably seen it firsthand of what the danger could be. And they bring him down by Desha uses his lightning. He can do it from the because he's just found like the rift that Miranjo was using. He uses his lightning powers from the underworld to the overworld to zap Oaken, and then the horse smashes the sword, which might be my favourite. But it's not the best animated shot in the episode, but it's pretty great.
Because it's like, what's the horse's name again?
White King.
White King, get his sword, and it's like it's also chewing on his head in one of the scenes. That horse is fucking fantastic.
He is, yeah.
Like for an episode that has like opens with your man getting like eviscerated by lions, and like then just like tying a fake leg onto himself and getting on with the lions, and lots of jokes. I was just like, it manages to put in lots of jokes in all this crazy threatening situation. I'm impressed by it. Yeah.
In the midst of all that too, Boss was ready to go out that cell when Hilling was crying out for help. He fucking bent the bars. He had 1 foot out, but then it's just one climb back in again and said, "Nope, I'm bound by something else. I'm bound by my word and my pact to stay here."
Your man outside going like, "I'm not gonna have to fight the king, am I?" He's like, "Oh, thank fuck!" Basically, like just in size. I thought that was pretty great. He knew he wouldn't last very long.
I'm going to guess that they're going to come through. They're going to attempt. I think is Desha going to bump into the other two lads coming the other way through that underworld gate? Because I guess they're going to use
Yeah,
underworld gate to get
could
to
be.
Miranjo's lair.
At the very least, they'd be the first guy he meets on the way into the castle. Yeah.
It'll be a whole thing of like that's just like, oh, you're not supposed to know that I'm here. Mm. I need to keep you boys awful quiet for the rest of your lives.
Mm.
And of course, we all still wonder, what is Bebin up to? What's Bebin's plan? Where is Bebin?
Where's Bebin?
He's probably going to do something cool when he shows
Ah.
up.
You know it is.
Again, this episode spends most of its time in that courtyard again, and still so much fucking happens. It's great.
Yeah, and the early animation of the episode is really good. The stuff towards the end is but it can be comedically rushed because it's the comedic characters.
I mean, like, as long as the jokes land. I mean, like, I wouldn't say that horse was well animated, but it was funnily animated.
And the way he's
important.
tying Oaken up is funnily animated. It's not well animated, but it is funny. His arms spinning around like crazy.
Well, he has a name for how he ties him up. It's a special secret art of tying people up.
They're mostly going for hitting faces as she gets very sort of like desperate and exasperated. It's just like her cheeks going out.
And the snake beating those lions up is some pretty great action as well. Even though you're like, well, I guess the humans weren't very good. Should have left it to the snake. Then next on the list is Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. Episode 66.
Episode 66.
5
Colors of Light.
Shanks versus Blackbeard.
And off the flashback goes with Lon Baroque. He hasn't got that X-shaped scar on his face, and it's like, I know this flashback's going to end.
He gets.
Yeah, he was like, as you know, you've made me the best weapon for me, Dark King Vern, is ever going to do. Like, no, it's not. But that being said, I want to retain your services as a cool, badass swordsman who was hanging around with all these underworld ladies I've given to you. It's like, yeah, I think I'm going to go. I was like, what? Well, it was going to be very challenging. I've made like the strongest weapon for the strongest dude around. This doesn't interest me. I need to find pastures new. And
it's basically him kind of going like, bored now, going, bye.
And Miss Fern, without saying it because he is bound to not speak, just like quivering and saying, how dare you, the cheek of him, and Vern's going, chill out, dude. I can't make him do this, you know. I respect him. I respect him. You know,
Darklings live a long time. He's probably going to come around.
He'll come back to me. He'll come crawling back.
Because since he already made me a weapon, I just want him as a swordsman because I know he's a really fucking good swordsman as well.
And Miss Fern confronts him in the corridor outside and saying, "You got something to say, motherfucker?" Nothing he does. He's got one knife hand. Shoo! And then like I get the cuts across the face. It's just like he's already up there. First, that one was free. If you do any more than this, we're going to have some fucking shit going on.
Listen, I get what I just did was rude. That's why I gave you that fucking shot for free. But if you fucking try this shit, we're going to throw it down. And now is the time, back to the present, when they're throwing down.
Yeah, and they're having this just incredibly climactic fun battle, you know. Like, it's just like they're a whirlwind of blades. It's just like careening and ping-ponging off the walls of the canyon. Everyone's saying, where's Lomberg and Miss Fern gone to? There they are. They're like devastating the walls, the rock walls around us.
Like, they're basically Dragon Ball Z fighting while everyone else is Dynasty Warriors fighting. And they're just like, where are they? Oh, there they are, flying through the sky. All right, fair enough.
Rocketdyne, got you a present. It's a sweet axe. Well, saying, how does it work? Just shout, detonate, and it'll blow stuff up. Shout, like, burn, it'll burn stuff. It's super cool. You're fucking right.
You can also shout detonate, burn. So you can do both at once. Crocodile's like, that's pretty cool, actually.
That's
thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
He's also slightly taken aback the way Chu keeps calling him the former Beast King. It's like, geez, I've fucking fallen that far. All right, fair enough.
Bardock, take it easy now. And he does like the Tranquilo pose.
In the middle of the fight,
like, what? And miss all of this? I think I'll get right back up again. Yeah. So okay, we're good. So that's all in hand. I've got all of these mobs being taken care of. Let's focus on conducting this like ritual to do the magic spell to glimmer to break or the barrier that I'm sure all of us are well and fully prepared for. Isn't that right,
your
Pop?
uncle's like, hang on, I'm going to go fight Mistburn first. And they're like, no, you don't need to go fight Mistburn. He's already fighting. You look over there.
There he is, flying through the sky. It's fine.
Everybody hold hands. Empty your minds. We got to, do this properly. We got to do this by the book.
Oh, Amy shows up with a present for her uncle as well. Here's your spear.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Oh, yeah.
Can't have you go off the battle without being wearing your Sunday best, after all.
Here's my second declaration of love. This time I'm giving you back your spear rather than taking it away from you.
Acknowledging that you just go and fight anyway, so you're better off fighting with some armor on.
Thanks, baby. I'll be back. I just like okay, we're getting down, we're going to catch a dimmer now, and then music just stops. You don't hear any sounds of battle. You just hear like the atmosphere, the wind is fun as Leona's going, okay. Do your minds, join hands, fun, pass on your will. You know, if we're going to do it like one at a time, fun, join hands, fun, pass, empty your mind. It's like just think of why you're here. Think why you're here.
And just pop shit in the brick, like, because he realizes, oh fuck, I'm last in the line. I'm gonna look like a real fucking asshole. Why couldn't I have been like the second or the third even? That wouldn't have been so bad.
It goes down the line. Dai gets it up, no problem. The pillars of light are ascending up to the fortress in the sky. You know, he's like, I'm gonna get no problem. This is like even Mama's gonna go on. He's like, shit. Okay, sink her. Come on, say it. Come on, say it. Nope, he's still like. Or some combination of his own insecurity, with his own fear, with his own inadequacy. It's just he can't get it up.
But while that's happening, while stuff's happening, there's also Nova getting to cry out and do an attack. Lord Burke is like, well, if we just keep on fighting, neither is going to win. Then Miss Fair's like, well, I don't care because look up in the sky. Here comes my buddy.
Yeah. I know that annoying laugh anywhere. It's Zappa Word and Mystic Bishop. Yes, you forgot about me, didn't you?
Actually, I'm General Number 2 now. I've fucking been promoted.
Remember
Thank you
those
very
things
much.
From episode 1, which could hide a monster in them, and you could throw them, and the monster would appear. Well, I've made much bigger ones now, and I'm going to throw them.
I made huge Pokeballs, and I've buried them all around the battlefield. They're filled with many monsters, and I'm going to let them all out right now. As Pop can't get the pillar up. Yeah,
and it's everyone is going, staring at him as he's fun. Pop, what the fuck? You know, the eyes are saying it. It's like, dude,
yeah.
Why? So he's got fucking when it's out there, man. Fun. Why are you feeling this way? And you remember, like in SSS Dyna Xenon, or okay. We got to combine the robot, but it's dependent upon us being in the right frame of mind and doing what I'm saying. And then like the main dude was like, no, I'm dealing with some shit, but can't talk about it now. We gotta fight the monster. Everybody combine the robot. And we're saying, whoa, time out. Whoa, no, we're gonna sort this out first. We gotta talk this over. We get a little bit of fun that to get into it, but I think it'll involve another tradition of love upon the battlefield, or some outpouring of feeling thereof.
This is all because nobody checked in with Pop. It's like, hey, Pop, can you do this? I get they couldn't check with your uncle because he was, imprisoned at the time. But you probably should have checked with Pop, because you checked with Guy, you checked with Mom, you didn't check with Pop.
Yeah, but I feel like this was like building up to another one. It was like moments that's gotten imitated in other things down the years.
Yeah, probably
in other characters. I feel like okay, it's just especially if it's been fucking this. It's been sitting. It's like, you can almost feel like that Pop they have. This has been like someone tight in his chest for the last few fucking episodes now. It's almost like there's like one. Tell us how you really feel, man. Fun, just let us fucking out, just because it's fun. It's fun tearing the bits inside. Now is not the time when we're about to assault the Dark Lord and battle for the fate of the entire world. To be fucking keeping things to yourself. What the fuck is up with you?
You see, that's one thing. Like that, I would be fine with. Like, it would probably like lead into things that I've seen do that kind of trope and stuff. But you keep telling me there's like way more of this fucking show, and I was like, what the fuck else could they fucking do? Pop gets his groove back, and then they go fight the Dark King, and it's just like, that's it. It's done, right? Surely there's no other characters that's in the intro that they still have to get to yet.
The intro hasn't shown up yet. I mean, currently he's dead, so I don't know how he is showing up, but he's definitely in the intro.
Dear.
I wonder if it's just like his ghost is inside the dark armor
Possibly.
spear. He's just like, come on, Uncle, just gotta believe in yourself and punch him harder. You're right. I haven't tried that yet. Yeah.
Yeah, we also have to bring back your man and his remaining chess
Yes, they've
pieces.
still got to
and-
show up. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot left to do.
Yeah.
You gotta fight off for who. You gotta like fight with themselves, fucking like fucking
Winner fights the bad guy. Yeah.
fun 4-on-4 like battle royale to who gets the shot at the title.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. It's I'm gonna guess that Pop's pillar isn't the pillar of bottling it up. Otherwise it would have triggered.
Cowardice is not your strength.
It kind
of is,
yes.
but
I mean, if it was
okay.
Usopp, yes, he definitely
Yeah.
would. But it
Yeah.
would be cowardice and lying would be his pillar.
Yeah. But it'll be like, it's just like a quality about yourself that you only view it one way without saying this is how you view yourself, but this is how we look at you, and you just
Yeah.
had to embrace that.
Yes.
So again, taking time out in the middle of this battle and saying we got to have this fucking heart to heart right now because literally our lives depend upon this.
It's the
Yes.
final hour. Yeah.
Yeah, look at all these people sacrificing themselves so you can cast this bloody spell, Pop. What's the problem? I'm curious as to how long his crisis of conscience is going to be dragged out, though. But
Hopefully
No.
not too long. I think it's been doing a good job of having it
yeah,
bubble
that's the
away in
thing.
the
It's
background,
always
and it
it's
came to a
always
head this
been
episode.
other things going on, and obviously there's going to be other things going on next week because the battlefield's now full of underworld monsters. Before it was just full of what they called,
The Hollow Knights or whatever they're called. Yeah.
constructs. So
Hmm.
yeah, and I think you got a little bit of the flashback gave you like a little bit of a better understanding of Vern when he's explaining, like, look at the sky, the underworld sky. They've got this plan to change the appearance,
Bring the sun to it. Yeah.
So you're like, okay, his motivation is a little clearer in the context of seeing it within the society that they're in, which definitely feels like, oh, it's dark elf drow type stuff with the darklings specifically seems to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Sauron actually united all the disenfranchised fantasy races because they kept getting turfed off because they looked ugly. It's like, well, he's trying to stand up for the little man in his own way.
But we know you could live on the you could live on the surface like Dai's Gramps and all his friends. You don't have to live underground. You could live in harmony, and occasionally have to fight fake heroes. So yeah, which. Who knows? If I go back to My Hero Academia, I might have something to say about that on that front when we talk about the anime. I'll definitely have something to say to you guys about it after we do record the show. About not illustrating your the cause of villains' behaviour properly, or at least not putting it in the context of a society. Which at least this gives you that little bit of a clue. They're not just like monsters who live underground who want to kill you. Which we know from the start because of Gramps and the the island. It's they're
Besides it, like basically him before when he was laying out this plan. What I thought was kind of interesting is like he has a big fucking spread, a big dinner set up. He's lots of sexy darkling ladies there to keep his boy happy and that kind of thing. And it's just like it seems a bit too good. You know what I mean? Like he's definitely on the high fucking end of the underworld, seemingly.
Yeah, I mean, he's the like the ruler there, or I guess, or he's the equivalent of the hero there.
But if he's got it so
god,
fucking good, why does he feel the need to like it? I feel like there is a selfish thing behind this besides the selfless thing.
I don't know if they would like see more of the stuff with the conflict with the dragons in flashback at any point, because that's the other element that's been alluded to. And in fact, I think you've been alluded to more in the anime than it was in the comic. I think they said there was more stuff about like the whatever the guy that they've mentioned that like the head of the dragons, like the equivalent of Vern, but for the dragons before.
Maybe got a trinity here, so maybe it was like a sort of a Greek myth thing where Zeus gets the sky, Poseidon gets the ocean, and Hades gets the fucking underworld. This is bullshit. Oh, well, that was it. We drew straws for it. That's the one you got. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, so there's like a little bit of subtlety even to like the very worst person. And we know he is the very worst person because he stuck a bomb in Adler. Yeah. Actually, is he the worst person? Zabuira may be the worst person.
Like, who's worse? The guy who's like a real petty piece of shit, or the guy who brown noses that guy? It's like,
Oh, it's a little dude. Well, at least like Vern is fucking he's badass and he knows he's badass.
Yeah.
Zabuira just like thinks I'm just like I'm gonna catch a reflection of the badassery, so I'm gonna delude myself to think that I'm equally as badass. Just it's better to be in
the coattails. Yeah.
It's better to be by the devil's side than in his path. That's all I'm about.
It's the tokusatsu Goda guy thing of villains as a metaphor for office life.
That's the best way to do them. Yeah. Inter-villain conflict, inter-office conflict, that kind of thing.
Which is definitely, from what I've seen of the tokusatsu that the author has also written, he's very good with the monster soap opera. Then we've got Detective Conan, episode 1035. Take a Meiji shogi board. What's in the brackets, Dwayne?
Checkmate.
Of course, it's checkmate.
I mean, like, I assume it's a different word, but it's translated as checkmate.
We guessed the right guy.
Yeah.
And the solution was fairly simple. He just whisked up the coffee.
I think I might have said it the last day because, like, can you make ice cream with a blender? And I was like, could you like make coffee with a blender? I think is what I said as well. I can't remember.
He brought in cold coffee and he made it lukewarm by whipping it up into. You could get it to like 40 degrees by whipping it in a blender.
So just a friction alone could get it to lukewarm.
Exactly. Yeah. If you just leave it running for like 15 minutes or something like that.
While he was doing that, he was throttling his mate.
Like he put so much fucking plans in. He broke the shogi legs off so that it looked like he killed this guy second, and he killed the guy who died the fire or died before the fire third. But he actually broke the 3 legs off to make it look like change the order of it. But like he still strangled the guy with a fucking extension lead. I was like, did you not plan for that part?
Well, I think that's partly because that was the guy he blamed the most, wasn't it? And
so he wanted to make that personal.
Yes.
He still could have like got some wire or something. You should have, or a knife, something.
Basically,
an extension cord. I feel like is very poor planning.
3 victims of the serial killing had, but essentially forced the guy who committed suicide to commit suicide in their pact to cheat and advance in the world of shogi.
Cheat at shogi. So basically, they all wore pens that had cameras on them, and they'd keep taking toilet breaks so they could. Like, all the other guys would be watching on the camera, and then they'd ring him up on the phone. It's like, yeah, you should do this move. We researched it between the 3 of us while you're on your toilet break, so you can go back with a really good move. But if any one of them got caught, they all agreed that one has to kill himself, so the rest of us don't get caught.
And you lad found out about that, and so he exacted his revenge by making sure that the other guy who was in the fire, he turned the air conditioning up to body temperature so that his rectal temperature.
It would keep his rectal temperature. Had to fucking get it in.
Body temperature after he killed him.
Yeah. Just. Also, he tried to blame that guy and the guy who was the third killing. Was he going to pin it on him, or was he going to pin it on the guy he killed the second time? Because. He had basically, I confessed to doing the other murders, and I have killed myself.
He was waiting for the police to find the confession, but yeah, it must have been the guy he throttled because the middle brother had found the confession note and destroyed it.
Yeah, when he headed back to the apartment, he was like, "Oh, I just left something behind." He was like, "I'm just gonna fucking steal the fake confession so that the police won't come after him." And I'm sure if I go to his apartment, he'll turn himself in, and he. The only part, like, I did like that is like, oh, he's doing the playing chess in his head over the phone to his brother, and it's like, oh, that's going to direct him down the street. The brother's like, no, I got a tracking device on his phone. It's fine. that was a very simple thing, but then he makes a bad move in order to tell Conan where he is in the building.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, that's top left, top
Yes.
this far
And then
down,
there
this
was
far
another
across.
clue which had to reverse it.
But he reverses it, which means it's on the back of the building, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good. I like. They rescue him by they.
Like complete fucking bullshit.
Yes.
It was very good. Conan, do you think you can hit that drying rack on the balcony there with your football? And Conan's like, I don't know, I think I can. Okay, give me your phone. We're gonna dangle over the side. I'm gonna use the voice changer to say, "This is the police," and I'll stay up here, and you go downstairs. After your man's like, "What the fuck? Why did my laundry thing just fucking fall over?" And he fires a warning shot into the pipe of the laundry thing, which curves around and shoots through the window. It makes it think there's a sniper on the opposite roof, causing him to run out of the apartment and Conan to, knockout dart the guy. Very complicated. Very like, how did you do that trick shot with the football and with the bullet?
Well, at this point, the football trick shots should be taken as read.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised by the football. Yeah, that's fine. That's been well established.
It's the FBI training.
It's more the ballistics thing
of shooting this bullet. But yeah, the mystery's wrapped up pretty quickly. There is some fun stuff about Conan's mum wanting to make sure Shuichi went out in his disguise. I guess she just made the disguise for him because she's an actress originally. So, and there's like a brief shot of his mum looking put out that he hadn't put the disguise on. The look that Conan and Shuichi have to Shikichi when he explains that he took the confession note and destroyed it, and like,
of course you would tamper with evidence at a crime scene. Yeah, sure.
Then
that's perfectly logical.
Shuichi having to ring up the guy from the FBI to go and retrieve the bullet.
Yeah, can you come here and repair this window and pick up the bullet? Because I need to disguise the fact that I've been here. Because his brother is later on. It's like, hey, I've been trying to ring Ma'am, but she's not picking up. And he's like, it's probably fine. She has to stay undercover, right, Conan?
Yes, Conan's like staring daggers at him.
Like, shut up! Shut up! Don't tell him I'm a secret child.
You're not telling me that your mother's a secret child. So, I know your mother's a secret child, so why are you lying to me and him?
You know that I know, but you're not going to fucking tell me.
Yeah.
Like a fucking decent guy.
Well, we were all children once. Some of us more reasonable than others.
I think it's hinted that Shikichi knows that Conan is Shinichi, but I don't think it's ever been stated. But there's a good...
I think he says another thing in this episode where it's kind of like almost like a young detective I know of or something like that. Yeah. He's just fucking dropping the hints all the fucking time in this episode. It's great.
Is there any like post stuff where they're pondering anything? I don't think so.
There's just the shot of I think you'll see Ma'am again when all the pieces come into play, and then shots of all the
family
important
members,
characters. I think
that's it. Yeah. And I guess it makes more sense as well for flashing back to the previous story, because that involved him taking a break from shogi games, and obviously that is part of the mystery of what's in this. Is that's what their cheating plan was as well. That was a nice bit of tying back to the previous story. Nice simple mystery this time, and it wasn't like I made a great misunderstanding. It was like, oh no, I'm just murdering these three guys for vengeance.
I liked that we didn't get it from like I didn't know you could heat up water to such an extent with a blender or whatever, but it's just like this guy's acting super sus. I think it's this guy. That's the only way I figured it out. I'd say not by accident. But the other thing was there was something with like the legs of a shogi board like looking like this particular vegetable. I did not get the pun they were going with there.
Yeah, that was a thing as well, wasn't it? I can't remember how that tied into it.
It represents something, and the something it represented was having to kill yourself to keep a secret, or it was some mad fucking shit. And I was like, I don't have a fucking clue what you guys are talking about. But you seem to be very confident that you know what you're talking about, so I'll go with it.
Well, some idiom that's very difficult to translate.
I imagine
very specific to shogi, and the sort of
that's the other thing
that only the biggest shogi nerds would No, I would guess.
King me.
Because it wasn't presented like, oh, this is a thing everybody knows. It was presenting, this is an interesting fact about shogi boards.
Yeah, like shogi boards' feet or
Yes.
legs or whatever do
Did
look
you know
like
they
this
look
radish
like
or
this
whatever the hell it
particular
was.
plant, and the meaning of this plant
Yeah,
is
yeah.
this thing, and that's how it ties into this plot.
Yeah.
Had to be covered up in the mid-year because they were inciting men's ardors.
Yeah, now just have to wait until the next episode. I think there's like 8 stories they could possibly do. There's more stories written, but there's 8 stories published in collections. So I guess those are currently the 8 they could look at. I think that was right when I counted earlier.
I saw a character design up there for in reading the news. No, it's for one of the films. Never mind.
Yeah,
they're kind of doing. Remember Bala Laikla from Back Lagoon? Well, here is a Conan version of her.
We'll go with the cop with the scar on his eye, who might be Rum. I believe one of those is it 8 or 4? Anyway, the 2 volumes or whatever it is that there's left. I believe one of those is the one which actually tells you who Rum is. So I think we're getting closer and closer.
Yeah, and of what the author said, like I think it was it like 2 years ago? He said there was 8 years left in it.
So I mean, it definitely feels like they're not going to introduce like another teenage detective at this point.
No, it is. The strings are coming together. As to how fucking long it'll take him to finish is another thing.
So many detectives and they still can't figure it out. Come on, put your brains together, kids.
But no, it feels like all the discrete mysteries are converging onto one point, which again is a good sign, because it's not like it's going to have like 6 endings to wrap every single individual mystery up. They'll all nicely fit together.
Now that I think about it, like a lot of the character pairings have paired off now, so that's nicely, neatly tied up as well. So yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And I guess there's other mysteries like, oh, maybe somebody turns out to be the dad. He's not shown up yet. I think that's the mystery. That is the one remaining mystery with the with Shuichi and Shikichi and Masami's family. It's like, where's the dad? Is he dead, or is he a character?
Is he a traveling jazz musician?
All along and we don't know about it yet.
What is he? One of the children?
Yeah.
He was shrunk into a child as well. He's the big dumb one.
Yeah, that'd be the final reveal of the Detective Clubs.
I've always been watching over you.
All the Detective Club turned out to be adults as well. Oh, that Conan kid's never gonna. I can't let the Conan kid find out. That would be they would be the greatest undercover characters so far, though, I think. Because they really are the most kid-like characters you see in the show.
Yeah.
Then it's time for the seasonal romantic Jigen episode, Lupin the Third, Part 6, Episode 15, and this is called
Wedding Bells Ring with the Sound of Gunfire. Do you think Jigen is sexy? Obviously you do. Do you like black and white and rain-filled sadness? And it's like, I can't love you because I love my gun. Then this is the episode for you. We need one of these a season, and it's very important we get one.
Yeah, it felt very fucking what's it? Is it true folded or is it novel? Very like Les Samurai, the French sort of noir film going into this and that, and then you would have seen that emanated again in the 2000s Cowboy Bebop, for example. Very much a fun, for a great thing, fun. This is a story here, a tragedy, a bittersweet parting. But yeah, there's a lady getting married. She's in the high society wedding, but she's from a commoner's background. But it's notable because the wedding dowry, the wedding jewel that's going to be like passed over here is the Tear of Marseille, and it's I've never seen a photo of it before, but it's one surfaced online just a little while ago. So that's our next target, and then Jigen is just like, this one, man. Can we just just parking for a little while. I was in, Jigen, buddy, what's up? Like, I gotta be alone for a while. And she's like, yes, this going back to like his younger days. Has he ever been young for a man?
I have no fucking clue. Impossible to fucking
looking
tell.
exactly the same,
like
though.
presumably,
yeah.
he's somewhat younger, but like, yeah, how could you fucking tell?
Yeah. It's he was, you know, and one of his usual adventures, one of his usual hits, you know, he's like, you know, bleeding out in the street.
It's probably
and,
pre-Conan since he seems to be on his own.
I suppose.
Mm.
Or bleeding out in the street, and a young woman appears in front of to tend to his wounds, and it says, "No, just leave me. You get out. I don't want you. You shouldn't be involved with this."
To the point of pulling his gun on her, and she kind of like, "Oh, I'll run off." Then it's like, "I knew it'd be you and me, baby." Right to the end.
You're lying down. My only real friend.
But then he wakes up, and she has pulled him in and has pulled out the bullet and treated his wounds and that kind of thing. And it's all very like, I could see you had kind eyes, and it's like, and he's like, yeah, you don't want to be with me. I'm a rough piece of shit. I'm bad news, baby. And it's like, yeah, I knew you were kind because you're trying to fucking put me off now, but it's not working. You're hot.
These scars definitely tell a story. I can tell that when they did this, going for the smooch, but no, it zooms out and blows up on him. Well, let's leave these two alone. So, you know, he's feeling like kind of conflicted about this, to say the least. It's like, we had something, but it wasn't meant to be. And it's like glad that she's, found someone who loves her, who can take care of her.
I'm glad she Florence Nightingale another guy. That's ideal.
Yes. However, this attracted the attention of the Jackal, international kidnapper and murderer, who's going to target the wedding. They're
the worst gang, because they will kidnap the guy, and even if they get the ransom, they're just going to kill him anyway.
They never will do that. So
well, it seems to be one of
they're
them
well known for this,
because it appears to be that's part of the reason they're doing it.
Yeah, part of his gang will do it. Yeah,
I think he calls him brother. There's one of them who.
Yeah, I assume it's his actual brother.
Obviously, some sort of serial killer, and I guess the Jackal is doing this to sate his urge to kill.
Well, I'll bring in a victim. We'll get a bunch of money for it, and then you can stab him with your knife, your best friend knife. Wouldn't that sound good, brother? That sounds really good. Isn't that right? No, it certainly is. Like it's a little more sinister than that, but that's basically the setup. Yeah.
But Jigen is just like, I'm going to keep shadowing her. I'm going to just watch over like a guardian angel, like a scruffy guardian angel.
So,
yeah. And they try and make their move, or rather, Jigen, he goes and he locates where they are and sorts it out ahead of time instead, because not going to let you disrupt this wedding. And it's a cool scene as well, because it's mostly just lit up by like just the muzzles of the gun flashes, and they're dropping to the floor, because you can't keep going with Jigen. Jigen's fucking cool. He's the best gunman in the world.
But Mr. Stabby's like, I'm gonna come in and cut you, because you can't shoot a guy who's right in front of you. And Jigen's like, you're right. Drops his gun and stabs him with his own knife. And it's just like, oh brother, he got me. And okay, I'm gonna throw a grenade and jump the fuck out the window. And Jigen's like, damn, I didn't get the one guy who was called the Jackal. I guess I'll have to go to the wedding and fucking see this thing through.
Yeah. And 2 was there. One could be hiding anywhere. They had us out out in the pavilion, outside in the church.
He does give your man the groom a talking to about, again, his kind eyes cannot help but be kind in this situation, even to his technically rival. The guy's like, I'm not fucking good enough for a man. I'm a piece of shit. And Jigen's like, you just gotta do or don't, man. That's my advice for absolutely everything.
Shit or get off the pot.
But then he's also having flashbacks about like how he didn't.
Exactly.
The letter which went unwritten.
You could, and yeah, I like if I keeps cutting back to that of him like opening the pen and just kind of like, I gotta write something here. I gotta say, bye, sweetie. And it's just like, no, I can't write anything. And
that kind of regret you don't want to have, man. I would know. I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
And
he's given him the advice that he probably could have used several times, but specifically that one time in his life.
You see the groom like acting shifty as well, as you think, oh, could this be a ploy? He hired a jackal because
Exactly,
because this big Jew only comes out when this wedding is this going to happen. So were you trying to like get that in the end yourself? But no, it's just typical, just like nerves before getting hitched.
Yes, but
No, he was a rich man saved by her in a car crash. She nursed him back to health, fell in love with him, and now he loves the fact that she works at the community center, etc., etc.
Anyways, it's a priest.
You can see it. You can hear him. That's the jackal. I see him.
You hear the new voice saying, "Now, if you happy to have in the hold for the rest of your lives, you may kiss the bride."
And he's about to stab her, and Jigen's just like, "No, you're not." Fucking pulls him away and fucking shoots him while the fireworks
turns their back
off.
on him while the fireworks go off, which he thinks is his opportunity to assassinate. But in fact, it is Jigen who has put on an old man mask, which immediately breaks in a great shot. That's a great bit of it. I can't remember seeing that happen in a Lupin before, of like the disguised tearing.
The mask being like tore off?
Yeah, that in that way.
God, it seems like such an obvious thing to fucking happen.
Just like the diagonal tear across the face. Was like a really great visual. And it's very much like one of the ways you can kill somebody in the Paris mission on Hitman. The PS4, you can get hold of the fireworks controller, and that's a good way of making sure everyone is facing in one direction, just as the jackal did in this.
Like, did anyone turn around and look for that priest? Where's Father? What's his name? He did a great fucking job.
At some point, they're probably going to have to go. Are we actually married? Do we have to go and do it again?
Like I figured this. Like it's a thing that they already signed the thing at the registrar's office, and then this is just the ceremony. This is just for God. You're not married in the eyes of God, but in terms of the law, you're good.
Anyways, we had to have the garden wedding so we can advise, all of the fancy pants mobility side of the family, and also all of the people that she knows from the community center. Yeah, they can all come here. It's all right. Anyways, this wedding was on a ruse to begin with.
Yeah,
I do. But it was actually all the things. She was the one who leaked the photo online to get the attention of Lupin the Turtle, by extension, one Daisuke Jigen, because she just wanted to see him one last time before she tied the knot. Yeah. And all the time that said he was like, he was like following her, and she was like going around all the front things. She was like, popping up the little compact mirror and scoping him out there. Yep, that's him there on the rooftop. Is
God, he hasn't
ruggedly
changed.
Handsome.
He hasn't aged a day.
Never I remember.
Same old man I remember. No, she looked great.
This is like last year. He's been brooding over this for like the last 12 months. It's like, why I let her go, man? Why I let her go?
But I like that idea of like Lupin being in on this the whole fucking time, which is why when he saw her in telly, he's like, "Woo, what a hot lady! I'd prefer to steal her." Woo, woo, woo. Yes. Ow! And Jigen just like, "I'm gonna fucking kick your ass," but I can't explain it right now. Like he's been egging him on the whole fucking time, basically. But she's still going to pay him with the jewel. That was the deal.
Which, you saying it happened last year reminded me of my hope for Ranking of Kings is that at some point they'll just mention that Boji's 27 or something.
That would be
didn't need spinach growing up, so this is what happened to you, kids. Eat your greens. You're just going to also look like cursed by your king father. But what's a jewel in the face of lingering regret, which been assuaged somehow by knowing you should have a happy life with this dude, or happier than I could give her anyway. Into the ocean, like, whoa, Jigen, that was the moolah.
It's like the tear of something or other. He's like, tears aren't for me, or something like that.
Yeah,
I made Lupin cry, and that makes me happy. Yeah, another good. Like I've pretty much always liked these Jigen episodes. I know they can be formulaic and stuff, but it's just like, this is the kind of noir that I'm down for.
It's like one of the better ones in I can call it in memory anyway. Sure. And what I found interesting is that she's going on all the time about you have such kind eyes. The eyes you can kind of peer into and see the real like shape of your soul. Like eyes, from the dude we know, we barely ever see his eyes, except when his hat flies off sometimes.
Yeah, it's like in he's got the kind of the thing in Blues Brothers. He only takes off the glasses to do this. It's like, hey baby, You got to save that up
Yes.
and you hide it the rest of the time, basically.
And he has the hat off. No, he's like in the flashback when he's recuperating, obviously, but also when he's just like being like the guest at the I don't know, the rehearsal dinner or wherever was that, or was that, you know, just like and it's just because they probably are. I've had an episode as well where I forget what the context was, but it involved taking sexually photos of Jigen in the shower. I thought, we need more of this. We gotta have some more of this in our Lupin the Third. It's underserved.
Yeah, and it's the first Akiyotsuka one of these, so that's the other thing.
Oh, okay.
Because this is the first Akiyotsuka series.
You gotta make sure he's. You gotta make sure he's got stuff. You know, can you sell every aspect of this character? It's like, no, of course he can. Akiyotsuka is, you know.
Try not, as I always seem to do, watch an episode of Tsushima at the same day of watching the episode of Lupin, and then you. I do it.
Try not to fall in love with him.
Difficult? Is it harder? Is it better or worse? Constantly thinking, well, this could also be a giant fat cat taking part in this story.
I did see a dog out when we were walking. It was just like, I'm not sure what make a dog it was, but it was just you know, a very kind of like scraggly kind of, you know, fluffy hair kind of one. Yeah, very kind of scraggly looking one, but it was a little shorter on top, but it was like, you know, kind of more puffed out around the face. I thought, if I owned that dog, I would call him Jigen in a half second. It's just like, they put little hats in him and everything like that. It would be uncanny. I know it.
Okay, that is it for this week then. Coming up this week to watch is Orbital Children. Is that on... What day is that? It's
Netflix.
Friday, I think. I thought it was already Thursday, but it's Wednesday. Because Thursday, they're dropping Deno Coil on Netflix as well.
Okay. They're going to start making some chopping and changing.
Well, Deno Coil is like a decade old at this point.
It's an old one.
It's the same director.
By the same director.
Possibly set in the same world as Orbital Children, I think somebody was suggesting.
Shared universe
shared
kind of thing.
universe
Yeah.
I don't know what length the episodes of Orbital Children are, so I might have to take a look at that before deciding whether to talk about it on the podcast. Because if they're 45-minute episodes, probably can wait for a different sort of podcast.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if when we reach the bottom of our JoJo well, we could know what's the next Netflix thing that got dumped all at once.
Yeah, so might just wait until we run out of these 12 episodes of JoJo's, because I don't know when the next 12 are dropping.
Yeah, we could get a delay in between, and I'm fine with doing it like we've done with other Netflix delayed things. It was like, let's check this back after the fact. That kind of that's fine.
Well, I think 2 strikes and you're out for Tribe 9. And I'll watch Ninjala instead, and probably carry on watching Life with an Ordinary Guy who reincarnated into a Total Fantasy knockout until it becomes tasteless.
Yeah.
But so far, it does not seem to be approaching anywhere near that.
No, it's again, it'd be very easy for it to fuck that up, but it really hasn't so far. I might have to reconsider my Dress Up Darling, because it's good. But it's kind of like, is this going to be just too horny for me? And I'm going to be uncomfortable with the amount of teenage hormones fucking rolling around in here.
I'll keep with it.
At least I can't use
I'll
it
keep
for,
with
I'm
it.
not using it for like the thumbnail. I'm always care. I even took the. I originally had like a much bloodier picture for the thumbnail for this week's episode, and I was like, God, after we got yanked because of Gomi-chan's eyeballs. Presumably because they were afraid of people yanking it to Gomi-chan's eyeballs.
You didn't put in like one of Jigen's smoldering looks this week, did you? Because that would set us up.
JoJo's, because we're Let's Go JoJo at the moment.
That's true. Yeah.
6 more weeks, then we can start putting in Boji pictures again. So back on Tuesday. Hopefully, I'll have sorted out the teething problems with my sound card, though it does seem like it might be more an NDI OBS problem than specifically the sound card. And we'll see you and speak to you then. Goodbye.